Yeah, look, obviously somebody is lying to this committee, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have one person indicating in emails, his senior advisor, that he had secret back channels to communicate with Dr. Fauci to avoid freedom of information laws. Dr. Fauci is telling the committee that that is not the case. He doesn't know what Dr. Morens is talking about. So somebody here is being dishonest, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. The other thing that's interesting is how Dr. Fauci has completely flipped on the entire lab leak theory. He did go out of his way to suppress the lab leak theory, calling it a conspiracy. And then in testimony behind closed doors a few weeks ago, which has now been made public, he said that the testimony is that the lab leak theory is very possible. It is not a conspiracy theory. So the questions are, what exactly was communicated in these back channels? What sort of government business was deleted? What sort of these personal emails were deleted that Dr. Morens was referring to? What's in there, and is there anything that could be of criminal consequence?
Yes.
But perjury itself is a crime, as you know.
Yes, it is. Someone is lying, you say. Not only did he flip, remember when you actually back then had even suggested it was a lab leak, anyone was shut down completely, but he's also flippant. I mean, using air quotes with you and talking about movie lines. He's obviously, he's a professional when it comes to spin. I want to play this clip where he's trying to blame somebody else for how that 6 feet distancing came into play here. Let's get this.
The CDC was responsible for those kinds of guidelines for schools, not me. So when I said that it just appeared, it appeared. Was there any science behind it? What I meant by no science behind it is that there wasn't a controlled trial that said compare 6 foot with 3 feet with 10 feet. So there wasn't that scientific evaluation of it.
He was the one in those daily briefings, standing there as the face of this, talking about everything, not just from social distancing, but from vaccinations and people with their jobs on the line, Congresswoman. Stunning to hear him try to blame the CDC for all that.
Well, quite frankly, both are responsible, right? They came up with these arbitrary mandates and guidance that destroyed livelihoods. And now we're learning that it's not based on science. How many children were affected emotionally by lack of social contact with their fellow classmates? How many children fell into depression and committed suicide? How many businesses were shut down? How many livelihoods were destroyed? And they're now saying that this was not based on science. And so it really begs a question of what they're basing this stuff on and how it was so arbitrary. And the other thing I brought up today was the royalties that NIH scientists made $700 million in royalties from pharmaceutical companies and during COVID, and then even hundreds of millions more prior to COVID from some Chinese, Russian pharmaceutical firms. That has to stop in this country. If the American taxpayers are funding experiments, that money needs to go back to them. They shouldn't be lining their pockets.
I would think everyone in your district also agrees. There's a big rally there. We have a little video of Staten Island. Folks are hurting, and they know these policies under Biden, not just what we're seeing learn with COVID, but every day-to-day life much harder. Congresswoman Malliotakis, a pleasure to have you in today. Thank you so much. We know you're going to get back in there to continue the congressional hearing with Dr. Fauci. I appreciate you today.
Thank you.